Now, after calls for an 8-match ban in some quarters and fears for a career in jeopardy, no further action is going to be taken against the assistant referee, Constant Hatzidakis, following the incident involving Liverpool's Andy Robertson last weekend. Martin Keown is with us in the studio. Hatzidakis has been stood down over the course of this weekend. That was because there was an investigation into it, but the investigation has decided that there's no case to answer. This is what he said: I fully assisted the FA with their investigation, discussed the matter directly with Andy Robertson during an open and positive conversation. It was certainly not my intention to make any contact with Andy as I pulled my arm away from him, and for that I have apologised. I look forward to returning to officiating matches. This is common sense prevailing, isn't it, Martin?
Well, I mean, listen, what I'm concerned about here is that nobody really is above the law, and that includes the officials. We have to be obedient to the law. Now, the referee or linesman, whoever, they know that if they react in that way, there could be a level of trouble here. Now, I don't want to see a witch hunt and the assistant end up in real hot water, but I would have thought that it would have been right and proper to have taken him out, officially taken him out for 2 or 3 matches.
Taken him out for the weekend while they did the investigation, but the investigation found that it was a natural reaction, an accident after pulling his arm away from Andy Robertson, who had grabbed that initially. Why do you want? I don't see that.
I don't see that. I think they're working really hard to protect him. I think if that's a player that
does that, there was a proper investigation done. Why do you disagree with it? They've had obviously lots of evidence.
Because it's a democratic society, and we can have a free opinion. And my opinion is different to yours. I don't feel that they've acted in the right way. We cannot be, and it doesn't matter who you are, you have to be the right side of the law. And I don't believe that he is in this instance. Now, look, I understand he's a really nice guy. I actually feel he's a top linesman. What he should have done, Robertson was completely out of order in all of this, but they can't react because then he's as bad, isn't he, as the players. And we're getting far too much. I thought Keith Hackett was brilliant on this when he was talking about referees at the moment. Players are all around them, and it's really, very, very difficult. We seem to have got a culture where we don't give out too many red cards. If you look through the numbers and the figures and the yellow cards, there's been a little bit of there's been a higher bar, and I think actually maybe the players are taking liberties, and maybe we have to create new rules where it's just the captains that are able to approach officials, because we have a situation where everyone is around the ref, everyone's doing it, everyone's fighting for every decision. You want that kind of atmosphere in your players, but the officials don't need it. And I think this is someone who's trying to protect himself. And then I think he's trying to find the best possible way, like I would, to word it to get out of it. But he has to be made responsible for his actions, and he's not. And now, honestly, I don't want to be virtuous and making that judgment, okay? But that's my opinion. And I think that somebody at a higher level should have said, you know what, let's just take him out for now. Jurgen Klopp, I know, has said he thinks the right thing's been done. But what else is for Jurgen to say in all of this?
Yeah, let's hold on. 03717223344 is the number to call. If you're listening to this and you disagree or agree with Martin, give us a call and tell us what you think. 03717223344. He has been held to account, though, Crook, hasn't he? Because the investigation took testimony from everybody. Howard Webb and the FA obviously had to get explanations from not only the officials but from Andy Robertson and from Jurgen Klopp as well. If Jurgen Klopp's satisfied with it, then surely that means that the explanation has been satisfactory for almost all parties involved. Why now need to take further action?
Yeah, and I'm interested to see how many people are going to ring in this morning and agree with Martin Keown, because I think most people are of the opinion, as I am, that common sense has prevailed. I think Andy Robertson probably will be a little bit embarrassed with the way that he reacted at the weekend, because he was the protagonist. He was the one in the face of the assistant referee. And I think, rather than being a sort of vicious elbow attack, as maybe Martin is making out, it was just a natural reaction to shrug him off. I don't think he was trying to elbow Andy Robertson. I think someone invaded his personal space.
We know that.
If I invaded your personal space, your reaction would be similar.
He didn't mean to, did he? He didn't mean to. I didn't mean to land on Van Nistelrooy when I jumped up in front of him.
Well, you did.
Look, but the thing is, he did, though, didn't he? And I suffered the consequences. I know this is very different, but this has been dealt with in slightly the wrong way.
I think it's been dealt with.
I don't agree.
Appropriately.
I think he should have had this sort of suspension thing. Is like, okay, till we look further, let's look at it. And now they're saying, exonerating him, saying, well, I know, I think there should be just a couple of games, and let's get one of our very best officials back on the pitch. But
you said earlier you didn't want a witch hunt, but these are the guys that have considered all the information, the evidence, and taken a different testimony from loads of different people. They've got more access to the information than you have, and yet you still want to get him banned.
And also, there is an argument, Martin, is there not? If
I do, because I think it's the right and proper thing, Sam.
But if you're going to ban the assistant, doesn't Andy Robertson need to be subject to some kind of disciplinary action as well? Well, I think he's probably relieved just to draw a line under this.
Maybe that's why Jurgen Klopp's very pleased it's been dealt with in the way that it is. Being cynical. But we can't have a situation where the referees are above the law. I'm afraid I'm going to stick with that stance. I don't look. We're seeing now far too much of it. We've seen a referee pushed, haven't we, in recent weeks? Mitrovic has been penalised. Everybody wanting Fernandes to be penalised too.
I think you're right about this one thing.
Was it Sam for a minute? Was it Sam, just think of this for a minute? Human reaction. Okay, was this a linesman? Look at the size of him. Okay, he's someone in the street who's going to behave. He's behaved like he would in the street. He's seeing officials being harassed and he's not having any of it, and he's reacted in the wrong way. That's the reality. But he's not being punished for that, and we're all happy to accept it.
I don't think it was premeditated. I think it was instinctive reaction. I don't think there was any malice intended.
Well, that's what you're saying, Martin. There's a lot of people that disagree with you, and maybe one or two that do agree with you. 03717 223344. Our switchboard has gone absolutely really balmy. After you uttered those phrases. I will agree with Martin on one thing, and I think that's that players now have to take a little bit more responsibility about the way they're behaving. The threshold for red cards has definitely gone up. The threshold for bookings has definitely gone up, and they're too busy to get involved with referees, mouthing off over every decision, and that's got to be taken away because people watching at home, kids watching at home, think that's the new norm, Martin.
Okay, so whenever we've done these debates, what we get is a reaction from grassroots, because we don't want that to affect. We don't want young players, right? But what we don't want then is officials reacting in the same way that this man reacted against Robertson. We need to spread that message too, Sam. It's not just one-way street.
I agree. Let's go to Bobby, who's an Arsenal fan, who joins us on the phone now. He's called 03717 223344. Hi, Bobby.
Hello, mate. You all right?
Yeah, good, thank you. What do you want to say to Martin Keown?
I just want to say, mate, I love Martin. Martin's a legend at the Arsenal. Martin, top man. But what I would say is, if that was a player that done that, they'd definitely get him banned. And I don't see why he's not getting banned, the assistant. Because that was a player, 100%, he'd be getting a match ban for that, wouldn't he?
Well, Bobby, there was an incident a few weeks ago with Alexander Mitrovic, and after all the video footage had been studied and all the testimonies in that incident given, he was given an 8-match ban. They've done an investigation in the last few days in which they've decided that no further action, having considered similar information, is to be taken. Why do you not trust the FA and the PGMO to make the right decision?
The only difference there is the other one was a player that done it and he got punished. This time it was an official. That's the only difference I've seen there, and he's not been punished. So for me, they've missed one there. Because if they'd have punished him, they'd have set a precedent. And do you know what I mean? So if you can't do that, whether you're a player or a linesman.
It's not the only difference, though, is it? It's a difference of malicious intent. Mitrovic was clearly very worked up.
Yeah, but you look at the way he moved his elbow. You don't put your elbow up like that to get away from someone that's touched your hand, surely.
It's a swift movement, Robbie, isn't it?
I've never seen someone do that with their elbow to get away from someone.
Yeah, it's a swift movement of the arm. Look, I believe this guy now is involved in this hot water. I don't want. Maybe he's listening to the show. I think he's a great guy. I think I've met him before. I think he's a very good linesman. I don't actually feel he's not the one dishing out the penalty for himself. I just think the powers that be above him have just reacted in the wrong way, and maybe he should have just got a couple of games, a rap on the knuckles. I'm pretty certain he's going through the grill at the moment because it's completely out of character. That's great, but we do that. And then we have to sort of take the consequences, and then we move on. But I don't like the look.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.